Hello, everyone. Welcome to another late night post-work beer review. It is a Wednesday night, and it's been a very busy day at work, so I am about ready for a beer to review. And come Friday, I guess it's kind of going to be a review, but it's also just going to be a long discussion of beer news that's happened recently. But that'll come on that day. And hopefully you guys will see it sometime soon. I am so behind on my uploads, and I just keep on reviewing and reviewing and reviewing because this is my primary form of self-expression right now, people. This is what a failed novelist, a failed academic, and a 5-gallon bucket of pissed away potential in life does to go and express his soul for you. He drinks beer and talks about it. So, what are we reviewing today? We are reviewing Stella Artois, Belgian lager. So this is Belgium's most well-sold beer, most well-distributed beer. It is not a traditional Belgian beer. It is a Euro Pale Lager, 5.0 ABV, and let's just go and read the label now, shall we? Stella Artois, premium lager beer. Brewed in USA under the strict supervision of the brewmasters from Leuven, Belgium, for uncompromising quality. Anno 1366. I don't think that they were brewing a lager that far back. So this is actually one of my mom's favorite beers, actually. So she's more of a wine drinker, but when she goes to beer, she generally has either Stella or Blue Moon, which is the glass I will be, using for this tasting today. So yeah, I guess this one goes out with a shout out to my mom. I shouted out her two most favorite beers in the world, even though she prefers wine. And yeah, let's just get to this review, shall we? So Euro Pale Lager, so no adjuncts added. It's 100% malt beer. And I've had this a few times, but I don't really recall it. It's not a very memorable beer. A pale golden yellow. Looks darker on your end than it does on my end. Nicely carbonated, with a fizzy to frothy off-white head. Over here, over here. Oh well, it is what it is. There we go. So getting some sweet bready malts, some grassy, slightly herbal, slightly spicy hops. Decent amount of minerality too. All in all, it's very reminiscent of Heineken. Okay. So, not greatly complex, kind of some cereal notes there. Maybe a touch of juice. But yeah, onto the palate now, shall we? Surprisingly sweet up front. I wasn't expecting it to be that malty up front. Usually Euro lagers have a bit more, while they're not as dry as American ones, they do have a bit of bite up front, but this one's pretty pillowy, soft, kind of sweet. Hop bitterness emerges in the mids, comes in strongest in the mid to finish, and then sort of leaves a pretty clear, yeah, pretty clean and clear finish. Just some ghosts of cereal malts there, really. Not much of a top note, just a sort of, you can go and look at the can if you want to be like this. I am about ready to throw this camera at a wall, I tell you. Lug's doing this so much, and I have no idea why. Probably because there's this big white void over here from the wall. But, yeah, like I was saying, not much of a top note. Just some slight hoppiness, noble hops in the top note. Let's see why my mom prefers this. It's a bit sweeter up front than any other kind of mainstream lager beers that I've had before. By no means is it like cloyingly sweet. It just doesn't have as much of a hop presence. Let's go see here. What's the date on this? 20 March 24. So yeah, this is pretty fresh. No. So yeah, not super hoppy for the style. You really get that bready maltiness up front. And even into the mids and finish, kind of sitting on the palate there. So again, by no means is it cloying or overly sweet. It's just sweeter than I'm used to for the style of Euro Pale Lager. There's no real off notes here. I wouldn't say the flavor is all that big either. It's kind of muted. I generally prefer more hops than malts in my cheap lager drinking experience. I wouldn't say this is a cheap lager. I'd say it's about mid-tier lager. Cheap lager should be reserved for stuff like Natural Light, which is sold at the supermarket I go to, but I approach it with much trepidation. Yeah, as it warms up, it's getting more and more sweet. Never quite steps right into overly sweet or cloying. Here we go again. There we go. No, don't. There we go. God. Well, with that, I think I've run out of things to say about this beer. After I'm done with this, I'm going to upload a video that I recorded like well over a month ago. Nearly almost 2 months, actually. And yeah, that's your beer review for this late evening. Stella Artois. No, I guess this is why I stayed away from reviewing lagers. It's this point where I'm not like offended by them anymore. It's just like, well, it's not bad, but it's not great either. It's just kind of there. And I'm sure it's great when you're, at the end of work. So I'm kind of enjoying it at the end of work. But yeah, most of these beers are just there beers for me. They're there. And that, folks, is your beer review for this afternoon, late evening, almost morning. Cheers.